Star Chesky, principal at Dudley Middle School, coming at you live with a great cast of characters on our screen tonight. We created Unlock the Middle to be able to connect educators from around the country and the world to talk about topics relevant to education, help take our game and our schools' games to the next level. We have a great show ahead tonight. This is Principal's Office Hours. It's a 20-minute quick hit experience. To my left up here on the screen, Dean Packard, principal at Charlton Middle School. How are you doing tonight, Dean?
I'm great, Chris. Thank you very much. It's not about me tonight. It's about everybody on this broadcast. So, Charlton Middle School principal, Dean Packard, nice to see you. I'm glad you can be with us. Down to Josh Tobar.
Josh Tobar, principal of Memorial Pathway Academy in Garland, USA, Garland ISD. Welcoming everybody to Office Hours. Talk to us, Otis.
Otis Kitchen, Tampa, Florida. It's a pleasure and a blessing to be here, and I look forward to learning and growing with you all throughout this entire conversation. Thank you.
Jamie.
I can go next. Stacey Green, Kansas, pre-K 7 principal, and thanks for the invite to the office hour.
You got it. Thank you, Stacey. Great pickup. Jamie.
How we doing, everybody? Jamie Brown, Bluffton High School, assistant principal. Super excited to be here, meeting all y'all. Thank you for having me.
You got it. Well, we got a smorgasbord, and we're ready to rock and roll. Let's kick it down to Josh. Josh, you start us off with a little topic.
We're gonna start
Don't ask about, what is it, Apple or Android. I caught that last week.
Hey, I'm glad. Everyone got it wrong, especially your phone. I never connect with your phone there, Dean. But here we go.
Purple bubbles. I don't know what that
Complicated questions, guys. Deep synthesis thinking here. Ready? Here we go. We're starting off with you, Stacey. Get ready.
Ready.
Comedy movies or action movies? What is it?
Comedy.
Why?
Why? Because I always need a good laugh after long days.
All right, Jamie.
I love action movies because I feel like if we're talking about education, it's never a dull moment, right? Every single day. Don't even have kids in the building yet, and it's already been 100 on 100 level.
Otis in Florida. Oh no, Otis is frozen. Otis, you're frozen. Dean.
I'm gonna go with action, man. A comedy is great, but action keeps my attention a lot more.
Chris, the Titans. What do the Titans say?
I love my comedies, but I got to tell you, being a middle school principal, it's all about comedy every single day. So I'll take my action movies so I can shut the mind off for a little bit.
Love it. Exactly. That's the answer. The answer is action movies. Got to keep you going because you know what? There's a lot of corny comedy movies out there. Stacey, there's some few ones, but yeah. All right. Here we go. Question number two. Complicated one and really a deep-rooted one. Apple or pecan pie? Stacey.
Pecan. My husband makes the best pie.
Okay, we'll be waiting for some via FedEx. Thank you very much. All right, Otis, are you back on? Otis?
I'm back.
All right, apple or pecan pie? Apple or pecan pie?
I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
Apple or pecan pie?
No doubt about that. All day. Pie.
Why?
Because,
right, Jamie,
I've been
apple or
apple
pecan pie
all my life, and my dad.
All right, Jamie.
100% apple. Reminds me, I got an apple picking with my daughter since she's been a baby, so apple pie all day.
All right, Chris, what is it?
It's always apple pie. Pecan is really nice, but the apple pie. We're from New England, Johnny Appleseed, Massachusetts, no doubt.
Dean.
It's apple with a scoop of vanilla ice cream, man. That just kills it right there. Boom.
Perfect. Exactly. That's the answer. All American, all the way. Apple pie a la mode. You got it, Dean. You picked it right. Exactly. There we go. Tough questions on a Tuesday for office hours.
Let's dig in a little now about real things that really matter. Okay, what's cooking? What did we talk about last week? You guys talked about unruly students. Is that what it was? Unruly parents, unruly situations. Am I wrong with that? Did I look at the wrong script? All right, then I'm going to keep quiet. Go ahead, Chris. Or go ahead, Josh. Lead the way.
All right. Today's discussion is this. 20 minutes office hours. Let's use all our experience together. Today's topic is this. How do we address that parent at an event who is being unruly and destroying the environment for everybody? How do we address it, Jamie?
Sure, no problem. I mean, regardless of what it is, obviously you're going to try and pull that parent to the side, have a conversation with him or her. 99% sure they're not going to get it in the moment, but I would look at the long term of what you could use that for in terms of the students who are in attendance that get to see it. Starting with my student athletes, that's a huge teachable moment. After the game, the next day, sit down with both, the team, the coaches, and any of the student bodies. We have a big student section, so I would sit them down and talk about, the importance of character, leading by example. And sometimes the adults get it wrong, and it's not the students. And, see if they were able to at least, identify what they saw. And, more often than not, you always see it. The kids are more embarrassed than the parents themselves. So I don't think you'll get much out of the parent, but I do think that would be a great moment, unfortunately, in a bad situation for your student body to learn and set the example for the younger grades for sure.
Thank you very much. Hey, you know what? Mr. Referee, talk to us, Dean. How do you address it, being Mr. Referee and Mr. Principal?
Is it with my uniform, my stripes on, my whistle? Honestly, as a principal, I think during those situations, what I do is I try to use proximity as my guide. I'll go and stand next to the individual, try to get he or she to calm down. More importantly, maybe try to strike up a conversation other than what's going on right there, just to kind of redirect the way that they're thinking. And then just say, listen, this is a great event for kids. And I just bring it back to the kids. And the last thing you want to do as a parent is you want to be known as that parent who just can't keep a lid on it. And listen, when I'm refereeing, it's the same thing. Anytime a game starts, there's always somebody that's going to be, we call it disjointed about something. It's sad and it's hard. And I've always said, often, like even as a referee, if we could just put the cameras on the parents and forget about the kids, okay, and then play it back to them at like the opening assembly for a high school before you start and say, is this going to be you? And again, seeing is believing. And again, I try to de-escalate. I try to talk them off the cliff, and then we'll have a subsequent conversation afterwards and just try to bring it back into perspective.
Stacey, talk to us.
Yeah, I don't want to echo Dean, but that's pretty much my first thought was the proximity piece. And I typically in a small district know where I need to be and when I need to be. Oftentimes, if those particular parents aren't there, the ones that tend to be louder, I like to nest myself at the top of the bleachers. And that way I've got a good view of what's happening below. And if you're watching the game, you have an idea too if it's going to go up or down with some behaviors. So, and that's the big thing. And then again, those later conversations and truly bringing it back to why we were all there. And that's that student athlete. And I think that's one of the things I found out through the pandemic when parents were not allowed to come in the gyms and we were just focusing on the athletes. It really shifted the focus. And I think parents were glad to be back in and have been much more mindful of their behavior since they've re-entered.
Thank you for sharing. Otis, the question was, how do you deal with that unruly parent at a school event? Something up your alley. You know about this.
Oh, I definitely know about this. So with me, hopefully I have some type of relationship with that. But if I do not, what I would do is quietly go to the parent, because oftentimes they just want to be heard. So if I pull them to the side and I listen and I just engage in that way, then and I respond to that parent and let the parent know I am listening to him or her, then that kind of de-escalates the situation, because at the end of the day, again, they just want to be heard.
All right. How about the Titans? What do the Titans do?
Yeah, I agree. Having that conversation, knowing your audience, knowing your parent. If it's a parent from an outside organization, it's the same conversation, done respectfully and civilly. But the bottom line is this is an event for kids, and we're going to go ahead and focus on the kids. But I do think that this starts with a culture and climate conversation. Our school has a foundation of beliefs set upon civility and respect. And any parent who's in our district, in our school, knows that we treat one another with civility and respect. And if we can gravitate back towards those norms during the conversation, it's, you may not tell them that they're over the line, but you're talking to them about it. They can put two and two together pretty quickly. But really having a good, solid reputation on being open to communicate, but being hard and steadfast on our lines of belief, and ultimately what's best for kids. If they're going at a coach, it's okay. You've got your opinions. Guess what? I'm a coach in town. Dean's a coach in town. Dean's a ref around. We get it. We're there. We do it every single day. We've coached your kids since they were 4. So it's building on that community connection. But I think having a solid foundation and understanding of promoting your school's belief system around how we treat one another, it does begin to walk that walk. And we talk about that at the beginning of assemblies, at the beginning of concerts. We talk about appropriate behavior, whether grandmas and grandpas are in the stands or our 5th and 6th graders for a guest who's coming in to listen to a presentation. The audience doesn't matter. The expectations are non-negotiable, though.
All right. So we have somebody that's brand new becoming a principal. They just greeted their kids. Everybody's in there. But we know this is a fact. We see it all over the media, on YouTube. It becomes very ugly to our point. We need to make the call and remove the individual. These are the type of conversations we need to have right now publicly. So when is the line drawn where you say person X, student X and Y, you're out of here? When do you draw the line, Otis?
I draw the line if it's becoming a disrespectful situation where profanity is being used or threats of violence or even violence. Just to the point where talking isn't going to engage the parent and de-escalate the situation. Then that's when I'm going to have to ensure that everything is safe. And like he talked about, as far as our core values that is promoted also, and our mission and vision repeated constantly every single day. Our vision is every student can excel. Our mission is we prepare students because we give them the tools and the resources to be able to create their own vision of success. Once those 2 things are aligned, then that's the time when I'm going to ensure that the parent is away and out of the environment.
Thank you, Otis. Stacey.
Oh, sorry. Same thing. And I think our referees, bless you, Dean, for doing that role. I think it's a thankless job, but our refs have clearly stated, what they will and won't tolerate. And usually I can get a nod from one of them or something in my direction. We let them know in advance who our representatives are for the school. So I think once I've reminded them once, it hasn't happened but a couple of times in my career, but it's an exit, and it's their privilege to be there, and it's their privilege that they lose rather quickly if they and we really remind them too not to make it personal. When they start yelling names, and again, the profanity is a definite out. But when they start making it personal with a name on the court, and same thing with the referees. That's the drawing and crossing the line.
Dean, when do you draw the line?
When civility is gone, and you know what, you have that little light bulb in your head, and I'm pretty good at scanning a room, and I'm pretty good at knowing when something's not going to be right. But again, when and if I have to do something like that, and I too, like Stacey, I've only had to remove somebody, I think, twice. And I hate to say this, maybe I had to get removed one time when I was, on the other end of this. So I'm not going to say I'm perfect in any capacity, but what I will say is that when it's wrong, and you have to own the moment when it's wrong. And I never want to embarrass the person that I have to move out. I try to, like I said before, I'll de-escalate the situation to the highest level that I can. And I'll just say, remind them, we're here for kids. We're here for kids. And right now, this is not kid friendly.
Jamie, talk to us. When do you draw the line, my man? Being an AP, a lot of times you're the one that has to do it. Talk to us.
Yeah, for sure. We got a game coming up this Friday, and we've had these conversations. For me, it's all about safety, which is, vision around what we're all talking about, right? So safety can be the physical. For me too, I think it's emotional too. Like you said, if there's disparaging remarks for getting out of hand and calling names and that kind of thing, that could be damaging emotionally, just as much, in the physical sense where you've seen that too. You're talking about being a referee and the YouTube clips we're seeing lately, on social media and TikTok and such with parents and getting out of control. It is what it is. You got to do what you got to do, but nothing trumps, keeping everybody who's in the crowd and on the field, in a safe environment. Again, just moving forward, long term. That trumps all in every situation for me.
Chris.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to add there. There's a tremendous amount of wisdom and level-headedness that's out here on this screen. I do think, convincing them that it's time to take a walk, time to go. And then once they get outside the auditorium, outside the gym, you follow them, have the conversation, and close the door as they're walking the other direction and they get the message. Don't engage them in a situation that's going to escalate quickly, but engage them in a way that says, we need to go someplace else to have a chit chat real quick, about what's going on. Beyond that, I think everybody else just nailed it. It's a level-headed, simple approach. And, quite honestly, enlisting some of the other parents, some of the other fans in the stands, if you give the look, chances are you're looking to the people who are your allies, and they're going to go ahead and have that conversation as well and convince the person it's time to take a walk and take some steps here.
Josh, what about you? Josh, what about you, man? Come on, we're not leaving you out.
Oh, of course. And I was waiting to say this. The Lord has blessed me with a lot of experiences and a lot of negative ones because I've been in charge of athletics at every high school I've been at. A 5A school, which is 2,000 kids, and a 6A school with over 2,300 kids. And let me tell you, I've been in the middle of bench clearing, bat swinging baseball games. I've been where parents jump off after losing at the last second and attacking the refs, and they've been escorted by PD. Where parents within the own team fight each other in the stands because one attacks the other kids on the same team because of being a ball hog or why they fouled. So I've been through all that. And the thing that has allowed me to make sure that is leveled off is, number one, not the assistant principal or an assistant principal that has street cred with everybody who's always at the event, is that you're there at the beginning hazing meeting and that you talk before the varsity coach or the 8th grade coach, 7th grade coach, and you tell the parents, I will not tolerate this. This is not going to, and give the specificity of the things that you've witnessed. Like, do not make comments about your own team. Do not get out of hand, whatever it might be. And you say, this is at hand. You will be removed because your kids and other kids do not need to see our colors that we wear across the board being demeaned. And that is a whole tradition of not only your current athlete, but past champions that have been there. So let me tell you, one of the worst things was 2 teams. I was right behind it. They kept chirping each other at baseball. And these were 6'5" kids, 250-pound baseball players going at each other with bats because the coaches allowed it. That's the next thing. You need to talk to your varsity coaches or your 8th grade coaches. What will not be tolerated under your vision? That during that time, we do not taunt the other team. You support each other to avoid all of that drama. And you know what? You have to have street cred. What does that mean? You cannot only go to one event, which is senior night. You cannot only go to the first game and not be seen anymore. Because you know what? That's exactly where you lose street cred with the parents, with the athletes, and your coaches. So fish philosophy, be there. Because you know what? The number one thing out there that's really hurting us is perception. And during athletics, something that's very beautiful, we're letting it go without being present. And that's my story.
Hey, we're coming down to about a minute and a half left. So here's my final question for you guys here. What advice would you give to a new administrator, whether it be an AP or a principal, as they have to deal with these types of situations? Just sum that up in about 20 seconds each, if we could. What advice would you give to somebody stepping into our seats? Let's start off with Stacey.
I think so. We've summed up here that relationship first and being present. And if you have that, that's going to go a long way. So be present.
Love it. Chris.
Yeah, I think, entering into a new school, a new situation, you're going to want to go ahead and tap your athletic coordinator. You're going to want to tap your coaches, talk to them about past practices, past and relevant issues that have come up, but also talk to them about what do they need? What do they think? And then from there, you go ahead and make sure and operationalize it. Get involved from the get-go, but understand the history before you make assumptions.
Otis.
I would say ensure that your words and actions are always aligned, because people are going to be watching you and people are going to be paying close attention to your actions. So with that, word of mouth spreads. So with your actions and your words, people are going to actually hear about you and about everything that you're about. And when situations happen, because you have what Josh said, street cred, because your words and actions are aligned, that's going to help you de-escalate situations tremendously.
Thank you. Jamie. Friday night, what are you looking for? Let's go.
Being
what are you
authentic,
going to do?
be intentional. Be intentional, be unauthentic. You know what I mean? Being yourself. Everyone sees right through it. What you look like. They don't believe in it means nothing. That it's a parent, just a community member. So that's it.
Love it. Stand tall. Good luck Friday night too. Good stuff, Josh.
Visibility. That's all.
Visibility. That's all. And I'm going to say, I'm going to tie right back to Jamie. Be authentic is absolutely right. Be real. Be consistent. And I think that's one of the biggest things you have to be. If you're not consistent, you pick and choose when you're going to blow your stack. And I do that as a referee. I can give out a technical foul every time down when somebody's swearing. When somebody, you know what? It's be consistent with how you manage your environment. And that's going to get you places. And that means that separates the good from the bad places as far as I'm concerned. So good stuff. Chris.
Being consistent. We're a 20-minute office hour segment, folks. We're 20 minutes and 54 seconds coming in. Not too shabby a conversation. Relevant topic, though. We're opening the school year. We got Friday night lights coming. We're going to have situations in the stands, and there are going to be some administrators out there who are looking for some guidance and advice on how the heck do I deal with that, or how should I have dealt with that differently because it didn't go as planned. We are here for you, all the members on this screen, all the members in our archives. This is what we do. We work to be better together. Thank you so much tonight, everybody who's tuning in. Thank you, gang, on the screen. It's been an absolute pleasure to chat with you for these past 20 minutes. We've got another show coming up on Thursday night, and then, of course, our Sunday night experience at Unlock the Middle. Hey, be well, be great, and just keep on working hard to get smarter and to get better.
Have a great week, everybody.